Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. This is your weekly report from me, Faern, and it's the 30th of October, and this is going till the 6th of November. It's a 1 week report. We are in full moon zone. And before I get into this, I have to be very clear. Two things. One, this is an intuitive reading. Some of the things are not going to resonate with you. Let them pass you by and just hang on to what does. Another thing is I am not an astrologer. I'm reading the collective energy. So this isn't moon worship. I read the collective phases and I use the moon phase as a marker, as a visual, so that we have something to associate the day with. It works for me, and it has been working for people paying attention to these phases. If you do moon worship, fine. You need to research that on your own. I am not going to provide that for you. I provide you with a collective energy report and the phase that we're moving through and things that you can do to work with it. So let's get going. Okay, it's a blue moon, right? So that all that means is it's the second one this month, and this is supposed to be really rare. Fantastic. I love those kind of things. However, some people are feeling it, and it is very, let's just call it confusing because it is so much energy. Here's the thing. It's not the moon. We are in influx. This is part of ascension. But there is full moon stuff that is kind of colliding with what we are working with. And this collision is not a bad thing. It is just definitely overwhelming some people. And it's overwhelming people that haven't yet been dealing with ascension in a direct way. I think that's an assumption. And the reason that I'm putting it that way is because the discussions that I'm seeing and I'm feeling into all have a lot of questions. And these questions are all associated with why now? Haven't we had hard enough year and that kind of stuff, which I totally understand. I'm not trying to like throw shade or whatever people say. What I'm getting at here is that because we're moving through such an expansion, it is extremely confusing. Confusion is the state of expansion. This is where that happens. If we make too many decisions ahead of time, it is very difficult to allow the system to follow through naturally because we think that we're following a map that we can read ahead of time. It is a weird thing to say, but you can't read the map until after you draw it, okay? What you're doing right now is figuring out how to draw the map. You may not be dealing with ascension. You also may be. It depends on where you are in your practices. And what I mean by that is some people are directly addressing ascension. Some people are ascending. Everyone is ascending, okay? The people that I refer to that are, some people are ascending, like I just said, they are people that may or may not have a spiritual practice, but they are already kind of pre-designed to help the people around them. And everyone around them is also ascending. My point here is everyone is going through this process. It's just that we have an individual way to approach it. We can all kind of help each other and discuss different symptoms and all of that, but that doesn't mean that because someone got certain symptoms in an order in a timeline that you will also get that, okay? The reason I gave you all that information is because of the prismatic zone that we're in. The phase that we're in is going to extend a few days longer than normal. That is the blue moon thing, is because there's extra energy behind that. Try to allow for space and time because the integration is going to possibly be a little bit jarring. We have just gone through a very active phase. We're in a slight lull right now. The vibration is on the lower zone, but not as low as we've been dealing with. And it very well might go right back up again. This is not a bad thing, but if you start to sit around and judge it and say, why me? Why now? This is going to cause a problem for your thinker, your brain. The way you're communicating between your heart and your mind needs a shift if you keep finding that woe is me kind of thing, because that sadness that is something everyone is feeling. I've seen my teacher say, that's Matt Kahn I'm referring to, that the whole planet is in the dark night of the soul. This will cause an energy sensitive person to go back into sadness and grief and stuff like that. I'm saying that from personal experience. The past few days, I have witnessed this in myself and many other people. This is going to be the next couple months that we're getting ready for. If it's very intense for you, try to find the portions of your thinking that go towards you being aggravated. That aggravation or frustration is most likely the zone that you want to work with, not avoid. It's not going to feel good, and that's just kind of the way it is. I have gone through a lot of this, and I totally understand and I feel you. Here's the thing. If you're not eating, there's a lot of people not eating right now. You have to eat something. You have to figure it out. Fruit, something. Water, if you're not drinking a lot of water, you are causing your body more problem than you realize. Especially now, when you're super aggravated from the phase, from the incoming energy, you need to drink water. If you can't think of anything else at all, get a glass of water. Completely and utterly confused, get some water. Maybe take a shower, something like that. Wash your hands. If you're in public, get some water, something. Allow yourself space to notice the water, to drink the water. This is going to be very important, because as soon as we come out of this prismatic phase, we're in an introspective phase. It might not be very clear where you will be setting up that introspection. Oftentimes we go, oh, I want to work on this, or I want to see about that. I recommend leaving it open and trying to be nice to yourself when something comes up that you just don't want to work with. Yeah, be nice about that to yourself. I wasn't. And then I had to turn around and kind of reorganize some of the actions that I had taken, and which is possible, but you have to notice that it's happening. When you're a very thorough thinker, like I have a tendency to be, the rewinding of information is one of those points to notice. Especially if we're in an introspective phase. It's highly possible, if you're energy sensitive and you're going through ascension and you have ascension symptoms, that it might feel easier to swim around in grief, in past grief. It might feel easier to give yourself a bunch of kind of not nice thoughts. It might be easier. And notice that, because you'll stay there. And it's an unfortunate thing. You'll stay there. And the whole point of this is to ascend, to awaken, to expand, so that the people around you can also do that. And then that ripple gets wider and wider and wider and bigger. I don't know if ripple is the best word for that, but you get the circumference widens and more people are able to dance in and out until they can find their comfort and in their new earth frequency, because that's part of what's going on, is that the earth is changing its vibration, and we as human bodies are associated to the lower vibration, and the earth itself is lifting up, and we need to be able to be normal at a higher frequency. And I don't mean normal at weird 2020, wear a mask forever, never smile and never hug anybody again. That's not what I mean. I literally mean how you feel in your body, and how, I mean, just telling you this right now, I'm tingling on my skin. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. We will still be in introspective phase by the time I come back. So, you know, try to be kind, spread the love, as we like to say, but, within reason. Notice if you're falling into the spiritual narcissistic zone. It's unfortunately a little bit easy to get there. It's a passage everybody goes through, and I feel like kind of is happening around a lot around right now. The spiritual warfare thing is real. Even if you're not taking part in it, it's happening. And if you're energy sensitive, you're feeling it. And if you're dealing with ascension, that is what all the hubbub is, and all the discussion about the astral zone and all of that. It's that. It's more earthly than people like to think. Okay? Bye again. Thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you. Please share these with people. I really want to help people. And these spiritual things are not really getting around the internet so easily right now. So I really depend on you. Thank you.